Everybody, my name is Faizan Ali from School of Hospitality and Tourism Management at the MoMA College of Business, University of South Florida. I'm also research coordinator for the M3 Center, which is housed in the School of Hospitality and Tourism Management. Welcome to today's video. So what is Google Scholar? We see that pretty much all the time people factor out Google Scholar as a search engine or as something that is very credible. In today's video, I'll give you some tips on how you can master Google Scholar as a search engine, as well as something that can be beneficial for you as researchers. So hey, what's up? Faizan here from Research Beast. On this channel, I share different tips and tricks for researchers, different motivational talks, and I also talk to experts about the research methods or anything related to research. So if you're interested in content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. Now, when people go to Google Scholar to search things, oftentimes it's not looked at something very interesting, or many people criticize Google Scholar as a search engine. Or if you as a researcher are going and searching something on Google Scholar, many times your supervisors do not recommend this, many times reviewers do have concerns about it. And the fact is, most of the times they're right. And why they're right is because we normally go ahead and use Google Scholar as Google search, which are two completely different things. So if, let's say, you want to use Google Scholar for scholarly research or to find some scholarly articles or written pieces or something like this, you need to make sure that you are optimizing your search, or you are using different tips that I'm going to give you today in order to make sure that your search bears better results, as well as you can be an effective and efficient researcher using Google Scholar. So hang in there. I'll give you 10 tips coming up. So tip number one is always to use Google Scholar in incognito mode, because most of us these days are using Google Chrome as the preferred browser. What happens is that when you're using Google Chrome, it normally saves some cookies or caches or stuff like that, and many times when you search something, it's somehow saved into your browsing history or something. So the first tip that I'll give you is, whenever you want to search, and if you want to search up-to-date things, like things that even if you're using the same query, let's say my research area is consumer behavior and technology adoption in hospitality and tourism. So let's say if I search something today and I get a lot of results, I do click on them, and then I save some stuff, I do not save some stuff, I browse some stuff, whatever. Let's say a month later I want to find something, I go back to Google Scholar in normal mode, and when I search for it, oftentimes it prioritizes the things that are somehow saved as my browsing history on my computer. And that's why you may have seen something on your screen that shows last visited this page was on this date or on that time, or I open up all these different type of links and whatnot, but a month later I'm going to go back and search the same thing in normal Google Scholar in a normal window. It might prioritize the things that I've already searched today, but if you go with incognito mode, it would take it like a completely new fresh search, because in incognito mode it doesn't save anything. So if you want Google Scholar to give you updated results on new things, make sure that you search in incognito mode. That would be tip number one. Tip number two, let's move to tip number two, and tip number two is think very carefully about your keywords. That's very important, because remember one thing, Google Scholar, it's not indexing. I mean, it is indexing, but it works like a search engine. So when you are searching something, it's not that the Google Scholar is going to present it to you. You have to find the right thing so that Google Scholar can present that right thing to you. How can you do that? You can definitely do it if you can find the right keywords. So you need to make sure that you are searching the right keywords in order for you to come up with the better results. And you know what, I actually recently did one video about how can you come up with research ideas or identifying ideas and how do you shortlist the ideas or whatever. I did talk about Boolean operators in there. So remember that Boolean operators can be something very interesting for you when you are searching something on Google Scholar. So let's move back to the screen and let me show you how do I search on things. So let's say I'm going to open this incognito mode again. Let's go here and all right, let me see. All right, so this one, let's say I want to search something here, hospitality, marketing, technology. So I search something here and what I get is a lot of results related to, let's say, hospitality marketing management, whatnot, all these different results, which is 926,000 results. But let's say if the same thing I wanted to do something like this, obviously when I put and, now the results are 903,000 results. But this is not how you do it, because when you are searching like this, here hospitality marketing are two different words. So what you need to do is just make sure that you are putting two commas around them. And now what it means is that you are asking Google Scholar to search articles that have hospitality marketing as one word and technology as another word. So let's say I search this, and all of a sudden you see that your results are really shortlisted and you have like 13,300 results instead of 93,000 or 930,000 or whatever it was. So please make sure that you are using Boolean operators in order to have the best search terms. Now, like I said, I'm going to link to the video somewhere up here, there, wherever. Make sure that you check out that video. I talked in detail about how can you come up with the right search terms. So that is tip number 2. Make sure that you are using the right search keywords in order for you to search the best results on Google Scholar. Number 3. Tip number 3 is how can you expand on your research. So let's say you search something on Google Scholar and you get the results. Now how do you build up on that? So again, what you need to do is make sure that because when we are doing literature review, we are finding certain things. It's very important that we are finding or we are reading the relevant research. So things that are relevant to our initial search, right? So let's say I'm going to go here and instead of all this, I want to search something about let's say robots and hotels. So I want to find something about robots and hotels. And now what do I have is I have around 15,900 results. Young Russian adults' attitude towards potential use of robots and hotels. My very good friend Stan is the author. And then service robots and hotels, understanding the service quality perception. So you see that you get a lot of robots and hotels, and this is what your search is all about, right? Now let's say I want to go with this first one, which is obviously you know, it's a citation, it's a research about robots and hotels. So what I can do now is instead of searching again and again, I'll just simply go here, down here, which is related articles. So I can go to this related articles, I can click on this, and then based on artificial intelligence, Google brings up some results that are relevant or related to the ones that I am interested in. And here again, I'll see that all these other papers would be somewhat related to robots and hotels. So this is another power tip for you to make sure that you're finding relevant research on Google Scholar, things that you can use to write up your literature review. So that would be tip number 3. Related to this is tip number 4, and tip number 4 is basically using the citations to conduct backward search. And how you can do that, it's very simple. So if I wanted to look at this robots and hotels, it's a new topic, and obviously if you look here, this paper from Stan is published in 2018, but it has got 53 citations. Now obviously when I'm doing my literature review now in 2020, I want to have the latest literature related to this topic. So what I can do is I can go with this paper. This is in 2018, but it's not necessary for you to go with 2018. You can definitely find the paper that was done the first time on, all this stuff. But what you can do is click on this cited by, and once you click on cited by, it's going to give you all the papers that have cited this particular paper that you're looking at. And if you look at these papers, these are somewhere in 2019. Obviously there will be papers from 2020, and these papers would also be related to robots in hotels. So you get much more recent literature related to the paper that you find in your first search, which is going to help you a lot when you are writing your literature review. Now, one thing that I would say is that, like I said, sometimes it's important for you to have the latest research, right? So when you are searching something, make sure that you go here in this, every time you search something like robots and hotels, you'll have this time here, right? So let's say if I'm interested in a particular time frame, or if I'm interested in really the latest paper, so I can just simply click on since 2020, and now I have all these papers that are published in 2020. If the topic doesn't have a lot of literature, then you can obviously go since 2019 or since 2016, or you can develop a custom range. So let's say I'm interested in 2014 to 2015, right? So if I do that, I can search it, and then my papers would be 2015 to 2014, and then now my papers are between 2014 and 2015, the search that is returned to me. So this is another tip that can streamline your search process on Google. Earlier I told you that you can definitely search from the cited results, right? So when we look at cited results, what we have is, let's say this paper that is cited by 53. So I click on this, and now what I can do is, if I am interested in finding something within these cited articles, and why is that important is because, let me go back to the previous page. So here, when I search robots and hotels, this gives me 15,900 articles, or published research or whatever, right? Because it picks up every single thing. Now, maybe a lot of these things are not even related to hotels and robots. Somewhere somebody just mentioned robots, somebody might have mentioned hotels in a paper, but it's not related. So there's a chance that a lot of these things that it shows is not relevant to what you are doing. So what you can do is pick up the paper that is most relevant and most cited in this area, right? So let's say I'm going to pick up this one, which is cited by 53 papers. Or maybe another paper by Stan, which is again robots by travel tourism hospitality companies, cited by 96 papers. So, or 76, whatever. Let me go with 96. So I come here, and there are 96 papers that have cited this particular paper here. Now what I have a chance in Google Scholar is that I can search something within the search results, and here's a box here. If I click on this, now I can search something. Let's say if I am particularly interested in service robots only, so I can search that, and now I have 41 results. These are papers that have cited the top paper in the previous search, and now you have these 41 papers that have mentioned service robots within them. So you are searching within the search results. That is going to give you the most relevant research to whatever you are searching. So tip number 5 is very important, and tip number 5 is while you are searching, sometimes it happens to me, I search a lot of things, I open a lot of tabs, and then I'm forgetting like what did I search, what did I not search, or whatever. So when we say how do you use Google Scholar efficiently and effectively, what you need to do is you need to make sure that you are building libraries. So that is my tip number 5. Build libraries in Google Scholar. And how can you do that? It's very easy. So let me show you how you can do that. So let's say I have these 41 papers, and I really like these 41 papers. So out of these 41, let's say, obviously 41 is too much, but let's say I'm just interested in the top 5. So I'm just gonna go and click on this star. As soon as I click on this star, then I'm going to go back and click on this star, and let's say this star and this star and this star. So these are the 5 things that I wanted. So I click on them, and now what I need to do is click on these three lines, and once I click, it shows here my library. So I go to my library. So I have all these 5 papers that I've clicked on the star in my library. Now what I can do is very interesting. So this is different papers that I have. Now this is readily available for my library, right? So now what happens is that maybe I want to make sure that I'm tagging these articles so that later when I want to search, I can search easily. So what I can do is click here, and then on top here there's tag. So let's say I click on this tag and I create a new tag called restaurants, because this paper is related to restaurants, right? So I click on tag and restaurant, then let's say this one is an accommodation, so hotel. So I am going to click on this. This one is also hotel, so I'm just going to click on this, and then I go here and create a new label called hotels. So I create this one. This one I didn't do that, so let me go. So I create, and then let's say this one and this one, I just want to create something called miscellaneous. So I just create it, and here I am. So now what happens is that let's say in your article there are 400 papers or 300 papers or whatever, so you want to shortlist them. So again, what you need to do is simple. You come to my library. Once you get into my library, you just need to click on one of those tags here on the side. So if you look at this one, let's say I'm just going to click on restaurants, then that paper that I tagged for restaurant comes here. For hotels, whatever. So now let's say if I use these papers, simple, and I want to get the citations for this paper, so I click here. Once I click here, all the articles in that tag are going to be selected. I click on export, and then you can export it in any of the reference manager, whatever you're using, EndNote or whatever. You can even download it in a CSV format. So let's say I download it in a CSV format, open it up here, and here you go. So you have your reference for those articles that you have in that particular library. So that's another tip that you can use in order to work with Google Scholar really efficiently and effectively. A good tip for you to follow is to create alerts. Now, how do you create alerts? So obviously you have a lot of people in your field. There are certain people who are really famous and who are really trailblazers. So if you want to know when somebody like that publishes a paper, let's say in my area there are a few people who work in technology, Dr. Jehan Chobanoglu, Dr. Ulrike Gatzel, Dr. Stanislav Ivanov. These are some, Dr. Dimitros Buhalis. These are some people who really publish a lot in technology within hospitality and tourism. So what I have done is, how would I know when they publish something? So I have created some alerts. So every time somebody from these scholars publish something, I get an email in my Gmail saying that this paper is published, which keeps good track, right? So I know what these people are publishing, I can read their work, and it can really help me to stay up to date. And how you can do that, again, just like my library, here it says alerts. So if I go to alerts, again you will see that these are different alerts that I have created, right? So what you can do is, again, you can simply go here to create alert, and here let's say I want to know if well, this alert already exists, but let's say I have a friend called Kisang Ru. I just create this alert, which is new article Kisang Ru, and I just create this alert. So here now, if Kisang Ru publishes anything as a new article, I'm just gonna have that one. You can also do it for different type of research topics. So let's say, like I said, my area is hospitality and tourism technology, so I do have some alerts for that. My name, I create these alerts to stay on top of whatever is happening in your field in terms of topics or in terms of leading scholars or whatnot, right? So that's another way of using Google Scholar effectively. Here you go with your tip number 7 and 8. 7 was to create alerts, 8 was to keep track of the leading scholars in your field, but both of them can go hand in hand. So how do you follow the main scholars in your field? by really tracking their work through alerts. Hey guys, if you think you are getting some value out of this video, please do not forget to hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel. I would also appreciate if you can share this video within your social networks or within your networks of people that may need this video. Going back to the video. Tip number 9 is to make sure that you are using advanced search, not only just the search but advanced search. Now again, many people get it wrong. Google Scholar is a search engine, right? So it's not like, you know, where Google Scholar have to find something and send it to you. It's a search engine, so you have to be smart with what you are searching. There's obviously a detailed advanced search tab where you can go and search something. I've not seen many people using it. Many people just go to Google Scholar and like I said, just like Google, they put something and try to search for it. So let me show you how you can use advanced search on Google Scholar. So again, I'm going to go to Google Scholar on these 3 lines, and here there's something called advanced search. So I go to advanced search, and then I can use these different things here. Now of course there are multiple things, and you have to be very smart with what you are searching, with all of the words, with the exact phrase, with at least one of the words, without the words or whatever. So let's say I just want to do this, service robots in hotels, okay, and then I want to search within the title of the article, and then I just want to search it. So now I have this one. It's called service robots in hotels, service robots in hotels, service robots at hotels, and somewhat similar hotel service robots. Now again, the reason why this is how I can search some articles using advanced search. But if I go back to advanced search, you would see that it becomes very, very strong and very powerful, because you can search exact phrases, at least one word, all the words in the title, throughout the article. You can search into a particular publication like IJHM or Cornell Quarterly, or you can search it according to a particular author or something like this. So make sure when you are using Google Scholar to search something, make sure you are using advanced search instead of normal search. Now normal search can help you with just to explore the idea, but when you want to dig deeper and when you want to really write your literature review, make sure that you are using advanced search instead of just a normal search or whatever. Now the last tip is, let's move to the last tip, and the last tip is how can you make sure that you are searching within the top publishing outlets in your field. So again, remember that when you want to target the top tier journals, it matters which articles are you citing, or where is your literature review coming from. Is it coming from good articles, or is it just like, you know, doesn't matter, whatever. So in Google Scholar, it can also help you to find articles within the top journals in your field. And how you can do that? Again, it's simple. So you come here, and here's something called metrics. So when you click on metrics, it gives you the top articles, the top journals in a particular category. So I want to go down and narrow it into business, economics, and management, which is going to give me all the top 20 journals within business, economics, and management. Now I want to go down here and let's say click on tourism and hospitality. So once I click on here, now I've got the top 20 journals in hospitality and tourism in terms of their H index and H5 median. So let's say I'm interested in IJCHM. So I just go either click on IJCHM, copy it. I go to Google Scholar and advanced search, and then here return articles published in. So I and search. So now I am going to get all the articles that are published in IJCHM, and you can look them. So this is how you can go and find into the top journals. But let's say if you want to see what are the most cited papers in the top journals in that particular area. So what you can do is, instead of searching that way, here is International Journal of Contemporary Hospitality Management. I just go and click on this 67. So now what happened is, when I look at this 67, it's going to give me articles. This 67 is going to give you all the articles that are the highly cited articles within the last 4 years in IJCHM, and you can see them here. So that would give you an idea of what type of papers are the more cited papers within IJCHM. So you can follow the highly published articles and the top tier journals within your field, and you can limit your search to them in order to justify your research gaps or whatever, but much more. So in my opinion, these are the 10 tips that you can use in order to make your search much more fruitful on Google Scholar, and also make your Google Scholar searching experience much more effective and efficient. If you have any other ideas, if you have any other tips that you use and you think that I have missed them, please put them down in the comments below, and so that I can know about them, and also other viewers on this video can know about them. In the end, please support the channel by liking the video if you like it, of course, and sharing it with people that you think might need something like this, other researchers, your students, your colleagues, your supervisors, anybody you think who might like this video. Just share it with them, and thank you. See you in the next video.